Hi everyone, I am so excited for today's video because I finally have with me my foundation from Eldridge. Now, I did create a first impressions video a few weeks ago basing on her foundation sample cards that she released, and I do have to tell you guys that I did actually go through all of them, because I just wanted to play around with it and to get to know the colors and to get to know her foundation intimately, and hands down for sure it's a very lovely foundation. Now, although I already created that first impressions video a few weeks back, I think for this video it's going to be more in-depth because I've already played around with it, and I've already understood its personality. And also one other thing, I'm also gonna use her blushes and her highlighters later on in the video so that we can just see how well all of her products work together. I'm sure it's going to be a very seamless look. Now, her foundation comes in this wonderful cardboard packaging, very sturdy packaging. Now we can still see her monogram is here at the front. Of course, the foundation label is here. The Lisa Eldridge Semen Skin label is here. And here at the back, it is her explanation on what this foundation is all about. Now, the great thing about this foundation is that when you open the actual cover, you can actually see the foundation standing up straight on this mount. And I was actually quite happy that there's actually a mount, because when like most of you who are fans of Lisa, when you saw the foundation bottle in her social media posts, you were all wondering how it was gonna stand. So do keep the bottom of the packaging, because this is where you can actually place the bottle, and you can just place it on top of your counter, or you can even place it inside your makeup kit, wherever you want to place it. So it's just a nice iconic way of actually putting it. And also one other thing, I do have to say that the cushion inside is made of a velvety material, and it's also quite sturdy and hard, so at least we all know that that will last for quite some time. And also one other thing that I have seen here is that there is actually a leaflet inside with a brief description of her foundation, the journey on how she created this foundation, and of course the key active ingredients, which I discussed in my first impressions video for the foundation, is also listed here. And of course we have a QR code here. If you scan this, which reroutes you to her website, and she's just showing there very short application tips. Now, the cover of her bottle packaging is actually very sturdy, and it's actually also foamed here at the top. But one thing that I do have to say is that because the packaging here is very sturdy, I have actually used it as a brush stand. So you can also do that, I think, and I actually like this way because there have been a few times wherein I would go on set, and I needed some receptacles for my brushes, so this is actually a good idea to have in my kit, because it's very light, so it's not going to add substantial weight to my makeup kit. And it's also very pretty and very white, but although I don't think this pristine white color will last, because I'm sure I'm going to get some stains on the cover, but it's a good idea, no? Now, we all know by now that if you're a fan of Lisa, we all know the inspiration behind this bottle design, and I think it's very iconic, and she was able to achieve that. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have already watched Lisa's in-depth video for her foundation, and if you haven't, I'm gonna put a link down in the description box for that so that you would know the inspiration behind this bottle packaging. But I do have to say that although it does look like a spaceship, it's a very feminine form, I have to say, and I really like it the way that it sits comfortably on my hand, and the way that I can ergonomically hold it, because there's an indentation here on the bottle where I can put my thumb on, and I can just hold the bottle properly when I pump it. And it's also because of this indentation here that allows this bottle to sit comfortably on its side. So isn't that so cool? Very ingenious bottle design. I have kudos to you, Lisa. If there's any chance in my lifetime that I'll be able to have conversations with you about makeup, I would truly appreciate it, because I'll just like to have a glimpse of what goes inside that brain of yours when it comes to makeup. So this is how the foundation bottle looks like. It's very nice and has a nice frosted glass in it, And her name, Lisa Eldridge, is printed on the very top here in a very nice gold color that shimmers in the sunlight. The bottle cap here is made of plastic and it comes off from the bottle quite easily, and it actually is a very snug fit. And you just have to return it here just to make sure that this line here aligns to the bottle here so that it's a much more snug fit on the cap. Now this foundation bottle comes with a pump, which is actually great because you know, I have had some experiences with foundations that doesn't have a pump and it becomes a very messy experience. So this just really helps in, like, you know, minimizing that. Now I can also see that the pump here is tightly fitted into the bottle, which is great because at least this doesn't give the foundation the opportunity to oxidize because it gets exposed to the air. So that's actually great. Now in terms of consistency, so this is how one pump of the foundation looks like. And if we spread it with our fingers, it's very creamy. It's also very easy to blend and it's very easy to spread. And can you see how opaque the coverage is? So just make sure that you work with very thin layers and you spread it out before you build the color on your skin. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply the foundation on my skin, and I also want to tell you guys that I am shooting under a mix of natural light and artificial light because it's quite cloudy, and I just want to create a little bit of balance between the exposure of the light here on my skin because it's just important because after all we're talking about the foundation today. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm adding a few pumps of the foundation here into the palette, and I do have to say that the pump here actually ejects a very minimal amount of product, which is, I think, a trademark of Lisa, that she wants you to use her product sparingly and she doesn't want her packaging to give out more than what is necessary. So that actually is a great idea. So now I'm going to get my Yachiyo brush and I'm just going to pick up some of this product here, load it generously on the brush, and apply it all over and shear it out. So I'm just starting here at the center of my nose and I'm just spreading it in very thin layers all over. Now one thing I do have to say is that I actually changed the color of my foundation. Like, you know, because as I've stated in my first impressions video, I had a tan at the time, and although I still have a little hint of golden tones on my skin at the moment, but it has actually faded dramatically in comparison to the time that I shot the first impressions video. And also I'm also anticipating the change in the weather because it's going into the holiday season, so it's going to be cooler, and then I don't have any plans of going to the beach, things like that. So I'm just anticipating that my skin is going to become lighter and I'm going to lose a lot of my golden undertones in my skin. So that's why I actually chose the color number 16. So the number 16 foundation still has an olive undertone in it, which is actually great because I do have a hint of olive undertones on my skin, and that olive undertones sometimes make it a little bit difficult for me to find my exact match or a close match to my skin, because if I use a foundation which is yellow and when I apply it on my skin, sometimes it's going to look too yellow. And when I use a foundation which has a lot of rosy undertones in it, it's going to look ashy on my skin because, you know, the olive tones of my skin will counteract with the rosy tones of that foundation, and it's just going to make my skin look ashy. So that's also one thing that I appreciate about Lisa's concept for her foundation when she was explaining it on her video, is that you know, she started with a very neutral base with creating the color of the foundation, and then she just started adding the undertones into it. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind when you are actually trying to purchase a foundation from Lisa. You have to know your undertone because that's actually the key that you need to find your exact match. So that's why I'm so glad that she actually released her foundation sample cards before, because, like, you know, I do not have access to her products like some people have access to it now, because she just she opened up a pop-up store in Covent Garden in London, and I'm actually like, wishing that I could go there right now, because like, aside from actually being able to check out her products, I just would love to see her collection of vintage makeup. Now, I actually did pump like around 3 or 4 pumps of product into my palette here, and as you guys can see, I think I've only used maybe half of the products that I've actually pumped out from the foundation. And we can clearly see here in the video that it's actually able to create a very nice coverage on my skin, and it's actually doing a very nice job of evening out my skin tone and just removing any form of redness on my skin. And also one other thing, if we're looking at my skin right now, it's looking very skin-like, and it's actually my skin tone, which is actually great, because if you guys can see, my skin is not too yellow, it's not too ruddy, but it is just right. Now, prior to filming, I would like to say that I did apply my regular skincare, except for my sunscreen. And the main reason why is because my sunscreen has film forming capabilities. So as soon as I apply it, it forms a film over my skin. Now, the thing is, Lisa's foundation also has film forming capabilities because of the ingredient called Film Excel. Now, I do have to say though that those two products, my sunscreen and her foundation, actually work well together. So it's really not a problem. But for this video, I just wanted us to see how well this foundation applies by itself. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit of the foundation in my under eye area and also here. Alright, so as you can see right now, we can see that my skin is giving a very nice soft focused look, very nice and even, and it's also looking to be very smooth. Now, I have actually tested out this foundation of hers. Like, after I shot that first impressions video, I actually shot another video after, which is actually rare because sometimes shooting one video after another can be very tiring and you lose your voice. And because I had a very nice base on my skin, I decided to shoot another video, and that video was actually my video review on the Hourglass products that were released for the holiday and also the Volume 3 palette. And I also do have to say is that I shot that video, I think 4 hours after I had finished shooting the first impressions video for this foundation. And although I did see that my skin became quite oily, I just set it with powder, and that actually did a wonderful job. And the foundation actually stayed the entire day. I was so surprised by it. It really works extremely well. And if you actually saw my Guerlain Gold Pearl Meteorites review recently, I actually also used her foundation in that video, and I mixed it in with my other favorite foundation from, it was the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. And I actually would like to say that they actually worked very well together. I was really like surprised on how well this foundation performs, and on how well this foundation actually, like, covers like blemishes extremely well. And I also do have to say that it's actually very easy to layer this foundation. Like, after you've applied a thin layer and then you want to increase the coverage, it's very easy, and it doesn't like cake on each other, and you don't see it grabbing on each other, unlike some foundations. Like, as soon as it dries down and then you add another layer, there are some foundations that it just grabs onto each other and it creates texture. So this doesn't happen with her foundation at all. Now, in terms of longevity, this foundation actually stays on the skin for a good amount of period of time. Now, after I have shot my review video for the Gold Pearl Meteorites, I actually went to the gym, and I actually forgot that I was wearing makeup. I don't know why, because I think I got a little bit busy here at home that I actually forgot to remove my makeup, and then I went straight to the gym. So I did work out with a full face of foundation on, although there was a little bit of transferring that happened into the mask, mainly because I powdered over the foundation, and then I added some bronzers, things like that. But the foundation stayed really, really well on the skin. I didn't see it break down. Now, it was actually after I have gone to the gym and went home that I decided to check out this foundation, and I just realized on how smoothing this foundation is. Like, it doesn't even settle into the pores. It has a way of, like, creating this very nice barrier of pigments on top of pores, and it just makes it appear smoother, and it just minimizes the appearance of fine lines, of wrinkles, of pores. So that's what's amazing about this foundation. And as I've said in my first impressions video, this has a very lightweight feel to it, and it has a certain elasticity that you do not feel it on your skin at all, which is actually great. It's one of the best things about this foundation. Aside from coverage, aside from color, it is that movement that this foundation allows on your face. So this is how the number 16 foundation looks like on my skin. Cool, right? Now let's dress up this foundation, and I'm gonna start by using her highlighter, and this is in Crystal Nebula. So I'm just gonna pick up some of this product with this brush, and I'm just gonna apply it at the highest points of my cheeks here. And also in some parts of my brow bone area and here. So I'm gonna spread this highlighter some more well into my cheekbones so that it just really makes it pop, and it just brings out my cheekbones. Okay, I'm just gonna use my fingers to pat it in to make sure that it blends well with the foundation. This is the first time, by the way, that I'm using all of her products together, so this is also going to be a nice video for us. And I'm not using any other products at the moment, no concealer, nothing. So what you see, this very even skin tone, is because of her foundation. Okay, now it's time for some blush. So I have here her Enlivening blush. Now, this is not the packaging, by the way. I actually transferred it to this because I think they're having issues with the packaging for their blushes, because I think the second time I tried her blush on camera, the packaging actually ruptured. And I think the entire Lisa Eldridge team is trying their very best to solve this issue, because I don't think that I'm the only person who actually experienced that. But, like, if you are like me and if you're having trouble, it's either you decant it to a different packaging, or you just actually remove the plastic clear nozzle, and then you just squeeze out the blush from the nozzle that's left in the packaging. But be very careful with it, because you will actually eject a lot of products. So just be very light-handed with it, and then once you have enough of the blush that you are going to use, just return the nozzle back and then just seal it, and then you're good to go. So I'm actually adding a little bit of the color called Island Glow on my skin right now. So I'm just tapping the color, and I'm just building up the intensity. Ooh, very pretty, right? Love it. Then with another clean brush, I'm just spreading the blush and making sure that it's blended well, that we don't have any edges at all. Now, I do hope that when Lisa actually, finds the right packaging for her blushes, I hope that it's still going to be in a tube. May it be like in a metal tube or a plastic tube, because I really like that kind of packaging. It's just much more easier to maintain the product, keep it clean, minimize oxidation. Because one thing that we don't realize about her blush products is that the cream blush is actually very, very thick. I don't know if you can see it here through the packaging, but it's very, very thick. And I think because of the thickness of it, the pigments found in that blush, it has a tendency to dry down, and that makes it a little bit difficult for the blush to actually get ejected out of the nozzle or the pump. Because even like with an airless pump like this, I do have some trouble actually ejecting the product out of it. So yes, I do hope that they will be able to address these concerns, because this is one of the best blushes that I have also tried in my career. And I'm going to pick up my Yachiyo brush that I used for my foundation earlier, and I'm just going to use this to blend the two products together. Can you see how soft focus this foundation looks? Look how amazing is that. it makes your skin look very healthy, because what healthy skin is all about is having a very nice even skin tone, and this foundation really does that. It's so amazing. I hope that everybody who has tried this foundation has the same experience as I do. Okay, so right now I actually want to add a hint of pink on my cheeks, and I'm going to use the blush color called Pink Poetry. So with the same brush that I use for the Island Glow color, I'm just going to pick up some of that and just add a hint of the color there so that we have a nice festive color on the cheeks. Okay, just add a little bit of the highlighter left for more color, and maybe some here in the Cupid's bow. Alright, now one main concern for Lisa with her foundation is actually trying to minimize oxidation, or not let oxidation happen at all, because that's one of the nightmares that we as makeup artists hope not to experience. And it has happened to me before. Like a few years ago, I was using a foundation that turned orange on someone, and it usually happens around the 13-minute mark. It happens under an hour. I really see it. I see the change in the color, and when that happened, I actually had to remove the makeup and start all over again. And that was actually for an advert, so I really had to do it. I had no other choice but to start again. And if you look at the key active ingredients of Lisa's foundation, there is actually nasturtium extract, I hope I pronounced it properly, and green tea extract. So these, I just based on how I read it and how I understand some of these active ingredients, these like offer like antioxidant care into the foundation and into the skin, so that at least minimizes the possibility of oxidation. And I am also going to say now, at this part of this video, I'm actually at the 15-minute mark already of shooting, and I am just so happy to say that I did not see any change in oxidation in my foundation at all. The color has stayed true. It has stayed even, it hasn't broken down. And also one other thing I do have to say, I am shooting under a mix of natural light and artificial light, and I'm sure you have noticed already that the change in lighting has happened. Like when the sun comes out, it becomes brighter, but my skin has maintained the same color. And it doesn't, like, you know, there are some foundations that when the light becomes brighter, it reflects so much of the light back, and it just makes your skin look lighter, and sometimes it can make it look ashy. So I also understand why there's no SPF here, especially mineral SPF, because that really reflects the light back, and it makes the skin look lighter than it should be. Okay, and to close down this video, I'm going to try and use this gloss embrace from her, and this is in the color Go Lightly, and I have been wanting to try this color ever since she released it, but it becomes, you know, it goes quite out of stock extremely fast. And the main reason why I wanted to try this is because this color is actually inspired by Audrey Hepburn's lipstick that she won at an auction at Christie's. And can you just see on how beautiful this color makes your skin look? It just adds a certain glow to your skin, and it just, like, you know, makes your skin pop. Like, especially for my skin right now, because, you know, I have olive tones in it, and the orangey, pinky tones of this lip gloss is just, like, you know, reacting very nicely to my skin, and they're just like complementing each other really well. And that's the main reason why I actually mixed in like two of her blush colors, Island Glow and Pink Poetry, just so that it will also reflect on the color of the Go Lightly lip gloss. Okay, and to finish off my look, I'm just gonna set my foundation with powder because I have oily skin, so I just need to do it. So I'm just lightly pressing some translucent powder under my eye area, and the areas where I'm usually oily, so it's always here, oops, the bridge of my nose, and I'm using a nice fluffy brush for this. And speaking of brush, by the way, Lisa low-key launched also a foundation brush, and I was so surprised by it, although I do have to say, admittedly, that I just found the price point of the brush to be a little bit expensive at £55. And when I actually read through the description, I read there that it's actually made in Kumano, Hiroshima, Japan. And they actually created different molds for each individual fiber that's found on the brush head, which I found very amazing. And that also gave me an idea and an understanding why the price point of the brush is such. And if you've been following me on my channel for quite some time, you'd know that I have also been to Kumano, Hiroshima, Japan, where all of these wonderful makeup brushes are made. So if you are interested in seeing some snippets of my adventure in Kumano, I'm gonna put a link down in the description box to those videos so that you can see me attending like the brush festival and checking out the brushes found in the brush museums. Because if you have a brush that's made in Kumano, Hiroshima, Japan, you're actually assured that it is made of good quality materials, and it also has some a sense of sustainability into it, and they're just there's also a high level of craftsmanship that's involved in creating a brush like that. So I actually missed out on the brush because again, when Lisa launched her foundation and that brush, it was 12 midnight here, and I was getting cross-eyed, and I just didn't want to purchase anything while I was being very sleepy. So I hope that I'm able to get that brush and also some of the other brushes that she created for her products, and I'm just looking forward to those products being restocked. And with that being said, that's my video for today. So this is how the foundation of Lisa looks on my skin. Of course, we have some blush and we have some highlighter, and it's looking very, very seamless, don't you think? Now, if you have any more questions about the foundation or any other products that I used today, please leave them down at the comments box and let's have a conversation about it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye!